We'll be starting in very few moments from now. I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right. Very close to me on my right. And as soon as I have a green thumbs up, we're good to go. It sounds exciting
in
because
very
it's a
few
full
moments
house
from
already.
now.
I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right. Very close to me on my right.
There used to be a movie called Men in Black.
As soon as I have a green thumbs up,
Zoom is taken over by Men in Grey. Right?
sounds exciting
in
because
very
it's a
few
full
moments
house
from
already.
now.
I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right. Very close to me on my right.
There used to be a movie called Men in Black.
As soon as I have a green thumbs up,
Zoom is taken over by Men in Grey. Right?
sounds exciting because
very
it's a
few
full
moments
house
from
already.
now.
I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right. Very close to me on my right.
There used to be a movie called Men in Black.
As soon as I have a green thumbs
Zoom
up,
is taken over by Men in Grey. Right?
sounds exciting because very few moments from now. I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right. Very close to me on my right.
There used to be a movie called Men in Black.
As soon as I have a green thumbs
Zoom
up,
is taken over by Men in Grey. Right?
sounds exciting because very few moments from now. I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right.
How many hands?
Very close to me on my right.
There used to be a movie called Men in Black.
As soon as I have a green thumbs
How many
up,
people whose batteries are on
sounds
20%?
exciting because very
How many
few
people
moments
whose
from now. I'm
smartphone
just
batteries
waiting
have
for a
run
green
out?
signal from the forces that
How many
prevail
people
on my
have
right.
enough batteries?
Very close to me on my right.
There used to be a movie called Men in Black.
As soon as I have a green thumbs
How many
up,
people whose batteries are on
sounds
20%?
exciting because very few moments from now. I'm just waiting for a green signal from the forces that prevail on my right.
Enough batteries.
Very
In a
close to me
diverse
on my
country
right.
like this, one thing that unites us is the name of our battery of our smartphone. Everybody is running out. The most common question outside is enough batteries. In a diverse country like this, when you the most common question outside is the most common question outside 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 Alright, day one of GMIS and welcome to this fantastic session with Andhra Pradesh. I'm going to now welcome Sri G. Amarnath, Honorable Minister of Industries and Commerce, Infrastructure and Investment and Information Technology, Government of Andhra Pradesh. I'm going to request him to join us on stage. Can we have a huge round of applause as he takes the stage? Andhra Pradesh. I'm going to now welcome Thank you. Sri G. Amarnath. I'm going to now call upon Sri Praveen Kumar, IAS CEO, Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board. Government of Andhra Pradesh. Dr. M. Angamudi, IAS Chairperson, BPS. Come on, round of applause. Lieutenant Commander Ravindranath Reddy, Deputy CEO, Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board. Praveen Kumar, IAS CEO, Andhra
Shri SVK Reddy, CEO, Andhra Pradesh Inland Waterways Authority. I know the youngsters can be a little more energetic in the applause. Please.
Lieutenant Commander
Shri Rajneesh Mahajan, Chief Executive Officer in Orbit Mode. Shri Meria Muralidhar, CEO, Andhra Pradesh Operating Officer, Kakinada Seaport. The man with the full battery on the smartphone. Mr. Amlan Bora, State Commissioner, NTSO, Netherlands. Welcome. Mr. Azad Sheikh, OPM, BD and PPP, Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board. Wow, we have a packed house. Our dignitaries are all set. Come on, a huge round of applause. This is the first day of GMIS. There is a sense of energy in the room now. Nobody wants to hear the MC speak usually at conferences like this, so I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to call the man in the order, move things in motion. I'm going to request Dr. M. Angamudu, IAS Chairperson VPA, to do the welcome address. So, can we have you? Please.
Thank you. Our today's chief guest, our Honorable Minister of Industries, Investment, IT, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Shri Amarnath Garu, and all my esteemed colleagues, friends from Government of Andhra Pradesh, and from industry partners, and those who are part and parcel of this great event. Let me welcome all of you. I don't want to take a name of individual persons because it's a great occasion to be with together and to be part of this entire progress. Today morning in the inaugural session, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, he stated one thing: there is a place for our Indian ports to act as a destination wherein we can make a progress. We can also do prosperity. We can also, be prosperous for a period of time. I just want to emphasize here, the Government of Andhra Pradesh, led by Shri Jagannath Reddy Garu, is doing plenty of action-packed industrial activities. We all know what is going on in Andhra Pradesh. And our maritime sector also, it's not lagging behind. There is a excellent scope, and this is the state which has the second largest coastline in the country, which has a huge potential. Of course, there is a huge opportunity, and it's being exploited already. And the Government of India as well as the Government of Andhra Pradesh already intend to exploit and explore it in a better manner and in an augmented manner. So probably this session, this interface between all of us will lead us somewhere wherein we can fix our milestones. We can also identify our benchmark. And in the days to come, we can do something for our country through Andhra Pradesh. Because Andhra got such a huge hinterland and with a huge potential, like things are waiting to happen with both the Government of India and the Government of Andhra Pradesh. Set the things together, the ball is going to roll very fast, and we are all going to get a benefit, and there will be a much progress in the days to come. Once again, I would like to hear from other speakers. I don't want to waste much time in deliberating and welcoming all of you. The session is important. Please be participative, and please share your ideas and thought process over after the meeting also. We will be happy to compile everything. We will happy to share it with all the stakeholders. So I request all of you, all your suggestions, even if you are not getting a proper time and a schedule here, please do share, and so that we will collate it and we will useful for everyone. So once again, my sincere thanks to Government of Andhra Pradesh and our Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, and special thanks to our Honorable Minister and our Honorable Chief Minister, those who like a kind of like a special attention and special focus is given for this summit. So my sincere thanks, sir, on behalf of Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, and my special appreciation to all the stakeholders, those who are part and parcel of this event. Welcome once again. Thank you very much. And my special thanks to Fiki also for doing this wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angamadu. I now call upon this gentleman who will take over the mantle, the steering of the ship, and hopefully navigate the session into beautiful direction. Lieutenant Commander Ravindranath Reddy, Deputy CEO, Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board. Sir.
Thanks, MC. And a big welcome to this session of our state of Andhra Pradesh. As Chairman Sahab, Sri Angamadu Garu had explained, Andhra Pradesh holds a very important position in the coast of, the country, as well as it is a state bubbling with energy. We are a very new state, as you all know. However, new state with a long history of maritime traditions and maritime history. But being a new state, and after bifurcation, we had the only asset is our maritime assets. And our government, led by Sri Jagannath Reddy Garu, and our minister, young and dynamic minister, Mr. Amarnath Garu, and the rest of the team, we are trying to leverage this asset to the fullest and see to it that it contributes to the economic development of the state, giving equal importance to sustainability and giving opportunities to all the stakeholders. Now, what is important and what is so special about Andhra Pradesh? Everybody talks about the 974 kilometers. And 974 kilometers is just a length, it's just a number. As long as we are not going to exploit it, it's not going to be of any use, just touting the. So that's Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board and the establishment the land side of it, the sea side. And here we partnership. That's what this summit is all about. We are looking at all of the already participating. However, looking for more participation, more investment, and we are here, the team, look after your interests and facilitate every step of the journey. Now, explain to you the initiative designed to facilitate ease of operation of business and the cost of business. So we are done. Sure that the would be interested in investing in. However, we also have a big brother, VPA is here, which contributes a lot to the economy of Andhra Pradesh. We work in close coordination with VPA to develop the maritime sector and contribute to the rest of the state's economy. Then, now, instead of explaining and taking away what my other speakers have to speak after me, I will now introduce one by one the speaker there, and I'll be requesting them here. And after the speeches of all the panel speakers here, we will have a question and answer session. Any of you who would like to ask a few questions, you can answer. You can ask us. We will be answering them. And subsequently, we are available here for any one-to-one discussions or any group discussions with the dignitaries who are here, and we can take on from there. Now, I request our Honorable Minister, Sri G. Amarnath Garu, who holds this portfolio, who had held this portfolio with aplomb all this while and had carried the flag flying high in various places, here and abroad. And he has a vision, and he has been making sure that vision is grounded. So I request him, sir, please come onto the podium and present about the Andhra Pradesh opportunities.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chairman Visakhapatnam Port Trust, Shri Angamuthu Garu, Secretary, who is not here, CEO Maritime Board, Andhra Pradesh, and Commissioner Industries, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Shri Praveen Kumar Garu, Mr. Amlan Bora, Trade Commissioner from Netherlands, Shri Mahidhar Garu, Murlidhar Garu, S.P.K. Reddy Garu, Rajneesh from Innovative Malls, colleagues on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all of you. Today it's an honor to stand before you to deliver this keynote address on the political leadership of the state of Andhra Pradesh and the remarkable initiatives that have been taken by the state of Andhra Pradesh in the maritime sector under the dynamic leadership of our Chief Minister, Sri Y.S. Jagannath Reddy Garu. You know, the political leadership in the state, way back in 2019, we had a majority of almost 84% seats in the assembly, 90% seats in the parliament, like in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We got 22 parliament seats out of 25. And most of the investors, as they look, we are the single party rule in the state since last 4.5 years. So not going to the political background, I would like to take you all to a journey of maritime sector in the state of Andhra Pradesh. You know, after we came into power in 2019, as soon as we came into power in 2019, we have established Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board in the month of June 2019. You know, Andhra Pradesh, after the state separation in 2014, we are the 8th largest state in the country. We have almost 974 kilometer coastline, which is gifted by the nature to the state of Andhra Pradesh. I just take you through the presentation. As I told, we are the 8th largest state in the country. We are almost 146 billion GSDP. The current price is in 2021. And when compared with the GSDP growth rate of the country, which is at an average of 8.7%, Andhra Pradesh in the year 2021-22 and 22-23, we are almost 11.43% growth rate, which is more high than the country's GSDP growth rate. And coming to the distribution of the GSDP growth rate, 36% is the agriculture sector, 22% is the industrial sector, and the other 42% is the service sector. As I've told, we are the second longest coastline in the country, 974 kilometers. After Gujarat, being the second longest coastline in the country, we are the most used coastline in the country. We have 26 districts in the state, out of which 13 districts are the coastal districts. All the ports, right from the north towards the south, all of them are almost 20-meter deep draft ports. We have 5 ports operational, which is one is the major port, the Visakhapatnam port. The other 4 ports are the non-major ports. The 5 operational ports. We are coming up with 4 new ports, 4 new greenfield ports. We are coming up with 10 fishing harbors. We are coming up with almost 10 fish landing centers. So this is the map. When you see from the north to the south, in every 50 kilometers you have an activity. Either you have a port, either you have a fishing harbor, or else you will have a fish landing center. So starting from the north towards the south, all the 974 kilometers we will be having in the next 1.5 to 2 years. We will be having 9 operational ports. We will be having 10 fishing harbors. We will be having 10 fish landing centers. For every 36 kilometers, to my subject to correction, every 36 kilometers, 36 to 40 kilometers, we will be having some activity right along the coastline in the 974 kilometer coastline. So these are the existing ports which I have mentioned: the Vizag port, which is the major port, the Gangavaram port, the Kakinada deep water port, the Kakinada anchorage port, which is the oldest in Kakinada, which we used to handle the rice products for export. And with the support of the central government and the state government both combining, we are spending almost 100 crores for renovating it. The renovation is under process. We'll be starting the anchorage port in the next 3 to 4 months. As you know, the Krishnapatnam port, which is towards the south of the state, which is near to the Chennai port. As you know, Chennai, which is not handling the coal in the recent times, almost the hinterlands of Chennai and the other parts of Karnataka and the other part, Rayalaseema of Andhra Pradesh, all the coal activity is being handled in Krishnapatnam. These are the 4 new ports, 4 new greenfield ports which are coming up. The one which is on the top, on the northern side, is the Molapeta port, which is in Srikakulam. The Kakinada Gateway port, which is in East Godavari, which is now called the Kakinada district. The Machilipatnam, which will take the activity towards Telangana, Chhattisgarh. All the exports and imports would be done from Machilipatnam. And Ramayapatnam, which is right near to the Krishnapatnam, which is almost 100 to 120 kilometers north of Krishnapatnam. So these are the 4 new ports which are coming up. These are all greenfield ports. And coming to the features of the new ports, Ramayapatnam, which is near to the national highway, 5 kilometers from the national highway. The railway siding is just near to the Ramayapatnam port, is just 5 kilometers away. And we have almost 850 acres for the port activity. The projected traffic in the first million metric ton capacity would be in the phase. Channel is 12.6 kilometers. The initial draft would be around 15.7 meters. The breakwaters is 2.32 kilometers. The cost of this project, the project already started. It took off. The breakwaters are being constructed. We are coming up with 1 bulk cargo and 3 general cargo berths in the first phase. The Molapeta is towards the north, which I've showed in Srikakulam. We have almost 1,254 acres of land for the port. The initial phase 1 would be around 23.5 million metric tons. The draft is around 17.6 meters in the initial first phase. Breakwaters is around 3.6 kilometers. In the first phase, we will be having 4 berths in Molapeta as well. And the cost of the construction of the project is around 4,362 crores. The initial 3 projects, the Ramayapatnam, Machilipatnam, Molapeta, are being constructed by the state government. And the Kakinada SEZ port is being done in the PPP mode by Aurobindo. Land for Kakinada SEZ port is around 1,800 acres. In the first phase, it would be handling around 16 million metric tons. The breakwaters is around 2.9 kilometers. Even this port will be having 4 berths on the first phase. They are spending around 2,123 crores on this. Overall, on the ports, the government is spending around 15,000 crores, including the fishing harbors and the fish landing centers. We are spending around 12,000 to 13,000 crores on the ports and another 4,000 to 5,000 crores on the fishing harbors and the fish landing centers. And the other greenfield, which is the PPP port, the Kakinada SEZ port, they are spending around 2,500 crores. The overall investment on the maritime sector in the state of Andhra Pradesh is around 20,000 crores. So these are the existing ports. The capacity of the Visakhapatnam port is around 14 berths. The draft is 18.5 meters. The capacity is almost 134. You know, Visakhapatnam port, as Mr. Angamuthu Garu has just mentioned, Visakhapatnam port is the oldest port in the state of Andhra Pradesh, which has a background of almost 90 years of background. Way back in 1933 it started. And to congratulate the Visakhapatnam Port Trust, they have handled the highest cargo in the last year, 2022-23, to a record-breaking 77.7 million metric ton in the last year. Krishnapatnam is around 14 berths. That's also 18.5 meters. The capacity is around 90 million tons. Gangavaram, which is the deepest port in the country, they have 9 berths, 18.5 meters. More than that, we have 64 million ton capacity. These are the Kakinada deep water and the Kakinada anchorage port, and the Rava is a captive port. So coming to the industrial land available near to the ports, Andhra Pradesh is one state. The union government is developing almost 11 industrial corridors all over the country, out of which Andhra Pradesh is the only state to have 3 industrial corridors in the state. And in these 3 corridors, the Visakhapatnam-Chennai Industrial Corridor, the Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor, and the Bangalore-Hyderabad Industrial Corridor, we have almost 45,000 acres of industrial land readily available with the state government of Andhra Pradesh for allocation to the industrial activity in the state. And the major one is the Visakhapatnam-Chennai Industrial Corridor, which will cater to the industrial land for all the ports, existing ports. And in Srikakulam, the Molapeta port, for Machilipatnam in Krishna district, and Ramayapatnam in Nellore district, we are procuring land near to the greenfield ports. We'll be having almost 4,000 to 5,000 acres acquisition of land near to these ports for the industrial activity. So we are having almost 46,000 acres of land bank in the state of Andhra Pradesh for the industrial activity as well. So these are the fishing harbors, as I've just mentioned. In the phase 1, we have almost completed Juveladinne, Uppada, Nizampatnam and Machilipatnam fishing harbors. And the phase 2, the Pudimadaka, the Budagatlapalem, Odarevu, Kottapatnam, Biyapdippa and Manchinilapeta. So these are the phase 2 projects that are coming up. The phase 1 fishing harbors of all the 4 are almost completed. Will be, the CM would be inaugurating the Juveladinne and Uppada in the recent times. And Machilipatnam and Nizampatnam are on the way, and these phase 2 are just started the construction as well. So these are the investment opportunities right next to the ports in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So we have the iron and steel cluster, and coming to the PCPR region, Andhra Pradesh has almost 640 square kilometers of PCPR region, which is the biggest PCPR region in the country. So we have between Visakhapatnam and Kakinada, the PCPR region is the biggest one. We are coming up with a petroleum complex and a petroleum cluster in those areas. And coming to the energy, thermal and hydrogen, NTPC is coming with a green hydrogen hub in Achutapuram in almost 1,200 to 1,300 acres. And the estimated investment in the green hydrogen sector would be around 1.2 lakh crores. And the fertilizer cluster, the cement cluster, as you know, near to Kurnool, we have in Krishna district, we have grinding units in Visakhapatnam. And the automotive cluster, we have the biggest automotive industry. The Kia manufacturing unit is in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We have Hero Motors, we have Apollo Tires, we have a lot of automotive sectors in the state of Andhra Pradesh in different parts of in the state. The food processing cluster, the apparel cluster, the Brandix, you must be knowing the Brandix. We have a Brandix apparel park in Anakapalli Achutapuram Industrial Cess, in which there is almost 27,000 employees working in the Brandix apparel park, out of which 80% are the local women working in that Brandix apparel park. And these are the clusters that we have developed, and these are the available land banks near to the ports for the industrial activity to be happen. And we have other, from the APIIC, we have almost 7,000 plus acres of land for other opportunities. And Maritime Board is acquiring almost 16,000 acres, as I've just mentioned, near to Molapeta, Ramayapatnam and Machilipatnam, we are acquiring another 16,000 acres. So advantages, as you know, Andhra Pradesh is #1 in ease of doing business in the country. We are ranked number one in ease of doing business consecutively from 2020 to 2022. We are the number one in ease of doing business in the country. As you know, a single party rule, we have skill development programs, we have 72% of working age group in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We are proximity to the research and development hubs and markets. We have different industrial policies. The recent 2023-2027 industrial policy, which is attracting many of the industrial big giants to come to the state of Andhra Pradesh. We have a single window clearance systems. We have supply chain linkages, vendor-based and supply chain linkages. We are looking at not only ease of doing business, but also low cost of doing business in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And as you know, in the recent times, we have organized a global investment summit in the state of Andhra Pradesh in the month of March, in which, under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu, we have attracted almost 13 lakh crores of investment to the state of Andhra Pradesh, in which only in the energy sector we have almost attracted 7 to 8 lakh crores. In the industrial sector, we have attracted almost 3.5 lakh crores, and the proposed investment would be around 6 to 6.5 lakh employment in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And that's the reason why Honorable Chief Minister calls Andhra Pradesh where we have abundant opportunities, and that's why we call abundance meets prosperity in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So I once again call all the investors who are attending the Global Maritime Summit organized by the Union Government, organized by the Ports and Shipping, Waterways and Ayush. I congratulate on behalf of the government of Andhra Pradesh and thank the Union Government for organizing such a big event, such a big event that happened after 2021. During the COVID times, it was a virtual event. Way back in 2016, it was a big event. And after the COVID situations, organizing such a big event, almost participations from 70 to 80 countries, lot of delegations from different parts of the world. And I thank the Honorable Prime Minister for giving us a lot of opportunities in the Sagarmala projects. We are spending almost 1.1 lakh crores in the Sagarmala projects. And once again, on behalf of the government of Andhra Pradesh, request all of you to come and visit the state of Andhra Pradesh and explore all the opportunities in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you one and all.
Andhra Pradesh, the land of abundance and opportunity. Rightly said, sir. Now, to give you the perspective on the policy framework, we all talk about the Andhra Pradesh policies, which make it the ease of doing business in number one in the ease of doing business list, and the cost of doing business, etc. To explain further and to elaborate the opportunities available to foster any kind of investments, I now request Mr. Praveen Kumar IAS, who is also the Commissioner of Industries and the CEO of Maritime Board, onto the dais and explain about the Maritime Board and the rest of the industry's infrastructure requirements and availability.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to speak about, in brief, about AP industrial ecosystem and policies. Thankful to Honorable Minister for covering most of the AP maritime infrastructure part. Subsequently, I'll be going into detail and will be really happy to interact with all of you. I'm honored here to stand before you today to talk about AP industrial ecosystem and policies at this very prestigious Global Maritime India Summit. In the spirit of this esteemed gathering, allow me to present some statistics showcasing the remarkable strides Andhra Pradesh has made in fostering a business-friendly environment and enhancing our maritime infrastructure. Let us begin with pinnacle of our achievements. In ease of doing business, for the fourth consecutive time, Andhra Pradesh has secured the top position in the Business Reform Action Plan 2022 rankings. Andhra Pradesh stands as a shining example of excellence in manufacturing ecosystem. With an abundant land bank already Honorable Minister Garu explained about it. Approximately 48 to 50,000 acres of land bank dedicated to industrial development and a focus on industrial zoning. We offer a risk-free, investment-friendly environment. Our single window portal has been instrumental, facilitating more than 90 regulatory clearances in just 21 days with an impressive 99.3% SLA, service level agreement compliances. Our approach includes ready-built facilities, flexible payment options, and composite lease cum buyout models for the land allotment, setting us apart from other states. Our single window port, Andhra Pradesh is a resource-rich powerhouse. We exported goods worth 19.3 billion US dollar in 2022-23, contributing 10.79% of India's total exports. Our gross state domestic product grew by 16.2% at the constant prices during 2022-23. And now let us delve into how are we minimizing the cost of doing business through infrastructure-led industrialization, with the numbers that highlight our achievements. Honorable Minister presented just now, Andhra is the only state in India that is home to 3 major industrial corridors. In fact, Visakhapatnam-Chennai industrial corridor was the first in the country, and after that, the industrial corridor-based development has been started across the country. We have Chennai-Bangalore industrial corridor, Hyderabad-Bangalore industrial corridor. We are strategically developing inland container depots in the association with the Government of India, which will be well connected with highways, railways, seaports and airports, ultimately reducing the cost of transportation of goods and leading to the development of MMLP, multi-modal logistic parks. We are encouraging the use of inland waterways and establishing multi-modal logistic parks in Anantapur and Visakhapatnam districts to reduce the logistics costs. Our emphasis on plug-and-play facilities is reducing upfront costs and time for industrialists, making ready-built facilities with flexible payment options available. The state has a vision of port-led industrial development, which subsequently I'll be presenting. Already we have 6 existing ports with a capacity of 320 million ton per annum and 4 greenfield ports, which we are going to commission in next 2 years, will add another 110 MTPA. We are developing 10 fishing harbors and 6 fish landing centers with an outlay of 4,000 crores, creating direct and indirect employment for about 1 lakh individuals, alongside benefiting 60,000 fishermen. Andhra Pradesh has consistently ranked in top 3 in terms of the cargo traffic in country for the past 3 years, handling a capacity of 157 MTPA in 2021-22. We are targeting to handle about 564 MTPA by 2050 through development of greenfield ports and upgradation of existing ports. Our commitment for strengthening logistics infrastructure is unwavering, with the dedicated policies for export promotions and logistics. We are relentlessly aiming to develop the ecosystem for port-led development. With this hindsight, we are developing infrastructure of over 4,400 cold storages, 240 ripening chambers, 3,000 pack houses to prevent post-harvest losses to our farmers. Our industrial parks in focus sectors are set to catalyze economic growth. YSR Electronic Manufacturing Cluster, Koparthi, is spanning 800 acres, anticipates an investment of 10,000 crores with the potential to create employment for about 1 million people. The YSR Jagannath Mega Industrial Hub is spread across 3,155 acres near the Koparthi node of Visakhapatnam-Chennai Industrial Corridor, is expected to attract an investment of 25,000 crore rupees, generating employment for 75,000 individuals. These are only a couple of examples of numerous other initiatives. Additionally, we have introduced policy extending special package of incentives for units in the bulk drug parks. Andhra Pradesh has been sanctioned one bulk drug park by the Government of India. Our unwavering thrust on creating jobs is a testament to our development agenda. We are setting up 175 skill development centers, 30 centers of excellence, and one skill development university involving PSUs, corporates, and anchors industries as key stakeholders. Our 175 skill hubs, 30 skill colleges, and one skill university are aimed at ensuring that industry-relevant curriculum development, on-the-job training, and apprenticeships bridge the skills gap and meet the demand for a skilled workforce. Industry customized skill development program is the first of its kind in the country. Here we provide training programs as per the requirement of the industry with a zero cost to the industry so that the question of skill shortage would not arise. For the information, there is an act for providing 75% of the employment, local employment, and I'm thankful to all the industries in the state of Andhra Pradesh who are getting benefited out of this ecosystem of skill development. By virtue of having 175 skill development centers and 30 centers of excellence, they are achieving to meet that demand. Quickly, I would like to highlight the dynamic journey of industrial development in Andhra Pradesh, a journey that has been marked by progress, adaptability, and resilience. In March 2020, we embarked on a path guided by Industrial Development Policy 2020, a proactive strategy aimed at bolstering industrial growth and positioning Andhra Pradesh as a global investment hub. In the past 3 years, our proactive policies have yielded significant results. About 99 large and mega industries have been grounded, generating employment for 62,541 people. Additionally, 35,181 MSME industries have been established, providing job for 2,11,374 individuals. We have 59 large and mega projects worth 1.46 lakh crores under active implementation with the potential to employ 1.58 lakh people. The industrial policy, which concluded on March 31st, 2023, set ambitious goals including employment generation, balanced regional development, and environmentally sustainable growth. Over the past 3 years, this policy has significantly propelled our state towards these objectives. However, the world around us has evolved rapidly, and so have our challenges and opportunities. The importance of port-led industrial development and the efficient logistics has grown, aligning with the rising global demand for goods and services. Our service sectors has also gained prominence, prompting us to include vital services including supporting industrial growth in our policy framework. The MSME sector, the backbone of our economy, must now embrace innovation and modern technologies to thrive and contribute to our goals of job creation and poverty reduction in rural areas. Recognizing these developments, we have announced the new industrial policy 2023, which will be in effect for the next 4 years, starting from April 1, 2023. This policy reaffirms our commitment to empower local enterprises while fostering an environment that attracts greater foreign direct investment. Our focus remains on generating employment, harnessing the potential of MSMEs, and nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit of our youth. The service sector has been given even more attention, acknowledging its vital role in our state's economy and the impetus it provides for industrial growth. As we embark on this new phase of industrial development, opportunities are aplenty, especially in developing the ecosystem around the existing and to be developed develop ports and fishing harbors. We invite investors, entrepreneurs, and visionaries to join us on the transformative journey. Together, we will shape a future where Andhra Pradesh is not only a regional powerhouse, but a global beacon of progress and opportunity. We welcome you to explore the immense opportunities our state has to offer and join us in realizing our vision for prosperous maritime journey. Thank you very much.
There is a saying which goes, when translated roughly, it says that God might give you a boon, but the priest has to acquiesce. He has to let it happen. So our political leaders might want to give a lot to the state, but it is our bureaucracy which finally has to let it happen. And kudos to our bureaucracy, like our dynamic CEO who is here. We've been working tirelessly, wearing a lot of hats, and working tirelessly to let the vision of the political leadership permeate to the population. A big round of applause for our bureaucracy and our political leadership. Thank you very much. Now the second thing is, we all know water transport is the cheapest. But we all know that water is not just in the sea. We also have water flowing through our rivers, through our streams and canals. And therefore, the government of India and then Andhra Pradesh also have identified the opportunity for developing these waterways. And the first time in a maritime state, we have created a separate authority for inland waterways recently. And the first CEO of that, Ms. Sri SVK Reddy, will now join on the podium to give you the opportunities, the way the Andhra Pradesh government is trying to exploit the inland waterways and what opportunities come out of it. Please come onto the stage, Sri SVK Reddy garu.
Honorable Minister, Industries and Infrastructure, Andhra Pradesh, Sri Amarnath Garu, distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It's great privilege for me to be here on this occasion and to share my views on inland water transport in general in the country and particularly in Andhra Pradesh. I have a small presentation to be given, but before that, few words with my experience on inland water transport in the country. As you all aware, water transport is the cheapest and the most pollution-free and is best suitable for over-dimensional cargo. I don't go into the details because it is already established and everyone knows that how economical, both in operation point of view and various other fronts. But as you are aware, around the world, about 4,000 million tons of cargo is being moved through inland waterways. Of this, country share is about 125 million tons, that is just 3%. And there is a lot of scope, a lot of opportunity for us to invest in it and develop inland water transport. Not because it is cheaper, but for two main reasons. It has less carbon footprints and it has less greenhouse gas emissions, which in turn relates to the global warming, which is a major concern of all the agencies across the world. So water transport will reduce global warming in a substantial way if it is adopted wherever it is possible. And Government of India has already taken a lot of measures on these, and Maritime India vision has been documented for 2030, and National Perspective Plan has been announced, Sagarmala scheme has been announced. All of these aim at increasing the modal share of inland water transport as well as coastal shipping from the present level of 6% to 12%. Of this, they aim at increasing mere inland water transport from the present level of 125 million tons to more than 200 million tons. I've been fortunate enough to participate in the Maritime India Summits, the last 3 consecutive Maritime India Summits since 2016. When we attended the first India Summit in 2016, the share of inland water transport in the country was at about 40 to 50 million tons. But when we came to the second summit in 2021, it has risen to 80 million tons. And by the third summit, we all see that it is about 125 million tons. So trends are positive, and there is a lot of still to be done. Now, coming to Andhra Pradesh, we have about 8 million tons cargo moving through inland waterways, but this is all to local movement carrying sand from mid-river to the banks and all. But longitudinally, not much is there. So there is a lot of scope, and government is very serious and very committed to develop inland waterways. And it is enacted a separate act, AP Inland Waterways Act, very recently under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Minister who is there with us. He has taken extra initiative in constitution of this authority, and we also constituted a separate authority, AP Inland Waterways Authority, to develop and foster and to promote inland water transport in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So very quickly, the authority has been operational only for last 3 months, and very quickly we identified some important projects, about 8 projects in 3 different fronts, you know, as per the objective of Sagarmala scheme, which has an objective of developing, you know, port connectivities with the hinterland, finding evacuation strategies for the ports, and also decongestion of roads. So considering these 3 objects, we identified 8 projects which I show you in the now my presentation. On please. Which one is? Slow down. Yeah. So these are the potential rivers and lakes and canals in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Okay, we have got about 1,555 kilometers of waterways which is identified as the potential waterways, and that includes about 978 kilometers of national waterways where Government of India through Inland Waterways Authority is actively participating in development of these. So I think it is sliding down, yeah. Which one to press here? You can slide down, it is not working. Okay, next slide. This I already explained. Next. So these are the waterway scenario in Andhra Pradesh. Next. So as I told you, we have identified 8 projects. Of these, 3 projects are basically to decongest the roads. That includes introduction of RoRo facilities at 3 places. It is not moving. Yeah, now it is okay. So the first one is Mutyala River. That is on River Krishna, we have a place called Mutyala near Jaggaipet, where at present about 7 to 8 cement industries are located. These cement industries do not have proper connectivity for export facility, and that cargo is being moved to the southern states, all through coming through Vijayawada city, covering at about 165 kilometers. So if a RoRo facility is provided at Mutyala, yeah, sir, 1 minute. This is moving, not moving. Yeah, okay. You operate. Come to 3rd slide. Yeah, this is the RoRo project which I have been explaining at Mutyala. That is cutting down nearly 125 kilometers and saving a lot of road distance for the movement of the cargo if it is adopted, waterways is adopted. And the second RoRo project is in the River Krishna itself at Ibrahimpatnam. This also has a lot of HPSL to move from the left bank to right bank. This also is likely to cut down 70 kilometers, and vis-a-vis fuel component also involved. And the third RoRo project is on River Godavari at Sitanagaram. This is there we have got Polavaram project, and a lot of rehabilitation units are to set up. A lot of building materials can be transported from one bank to other. So right now road distance is at about 80 to 90 kilometer longer. If RoRo facility is provided across the River Godavari, it is cut down, I think it shall cut down 70 kilometer, and vis-a-vis the cost there. So these are the 3 immediate projects which have been identified to start with, and subsequently we plan to do a lot of feasibility studies. Next. Now, next set of projects which we have in mind is port connectivity for the hinterland. And it's again in two angles. One is we have got a lot of cement factories on two rivers, River Penna and River Krishna. Particularly on River Krishna, we have about 8 to 10 cement factories and at about 8 to 10 factories in the Telangana also adjoining Muktala. And these cement needs some facility to export their cement products. And we have got Machilipatnam port which is coming, and this Machilipatnam is very well connected to the Krishna River. If this is adopted, I think it will have a lot of good port evacuation facility for the Machilipatnam port. Also, there is a power unit on River Krishna at Ibrahimpatnam that needs coal which can be imported from this Machilipatnam port. Also, the cement factories need fly ash, which is a byproduct of this power plant. That hinterland connectivity from power unit to the cement factories can be taken. A lot of costs can be saved. And next, coming to next slide. In a similar way, in River Penna, that Penna River is having connectivity to the Krishnapatnam port. If it is, this is not developed at present, but if it is developed, it has about 14 million tons of cargo that can be transported from these cement factories to the to foreign countries through Krishnapatnam port. And there are two steel factories as well as a power unit adjoining this river. So there is also similar like in River Krishna, the cargo can be, that by fly ash can be from the power unit taken to the cement factories, and whatever the raw material required in the local area, because that area is having a lot of limestone and iron ore the raw materials which can be transported through River Penna and ultimately export through Krishnapatnam port. So these are the port connectivity projects. Next, we have got two immediate tourism projects also identified in and around Vijayawada. So there are 7 temples located. If waterway connects all these temples, and if project is conceived to connect all these through waterway, it will save time. Otherwise, connecting all these temples or pilgrimage centers will take nearly 2-3 days by road with a lot of strain and costs involved. If waterway is adopted, I think that will cut down the cost as well as it will facilitate all segments of population, old particularly, who cannot move on the road. So all these projects we plan to execute on PPP mode by forming SPVs. This is our financing mechanism which we adopted, that we try to get fund as equity of from the central government or the concerned ministries in the central government and from the public, and we pay a dividend and expend this money for carrying out surveys and other related activities connected to. Ultimately, these projects are proposed to be executed on PPP basis, and and I'm very happy to say Government of India has recently reviewed and agreed to fund even incidental immediate survey costs for River Penna. They have agreed to even share the cost for surveying the River Penna. And very recently, International Finance Corporation also has completed the first round of talks with us, and they have shown interest and port connectivity to Krishnapatnam and port connectivity to Kakinada and Machilipatnam ports. They want to participate with us, and they have shown interest and explore the possibility of associating with the state government in developing these two projects. So with this, I say that Andhra Pradesh government is very committed, so committed that not only from technical point of view, even it want some authority to push through this in the political angle, and they have appointed a new chairman for this authority in a very short term of the bed. They appointed Sri Dattaluri Dilip Kumar Garu as a chairman of new AP Inland Waterways Authority. Fortunately, he is there with us. Sir, kindly, sir, I will introduce to you so that for any of your projects, if you want to take up through in the Andhra Pradesh, you can very well contact him for quicker and immediate results so that the projects can be taken up at the possible area. So one more, 2 slides I have. Next slide. So this inland water transport project is identified to have all these side benefits. It can create dredging works in the rivers. It has it can create workers. So it has various, about 11 fields it can provide opportunities, rural employment in the state. Finally, with all the projects, 8 projects, what we have taken up, the major takeaways are 4. It decongests roads by nearly 2,800 trucks every day, and it will have fuel savings of 32.72 million liters of petrol per annum, and foreign savings are about 370 crores per annum, and it reduces road distance by 290 kilometer. Road distance, save 88 hours of travel time for each trip. So ultimately, it will create substantial rural employment opportunities also. So I request the industry take a proactive look at this and invest and come forward to explore the possibility of promoting inland water transport in Andhra Pradesh in a big way, where a lot of potential exists. Thank you.
A lot of talk. We have been telling everybody how good we are. But then, we would also like you to listen it, like they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So we would like to let you listen to some of the people, some of the organizations who had been interacting with the state of Andhra Pradesh in various businesses, some who have been there for a long time, and another who is just about to start. They are going to give their experience of dealing with the government of Andhra Pradesh and the state of Andhra Pradesh, and they would give the insight into what are the experiences which can encourage the rest of you to start looking at investment into Andhra Pradesh. I would like to invite Sri Rajneesh Mahajan. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Inorbit Malls. As you all know, Inorbit Malls, part of our Rahaja Group, is setting up almost a mall which is having almost a 1 million square feet capacity in the city of Visakhapatnam. We are all excited about the Inorbit Mall coming to us. I invite Mr. Rajneesh Mahajan to come and explain, let you know about his experience in dealing with Andhra Pradesh.
We saw some very impressive numbers, some very courageous and bold plans. We were bombarded with a lot of opportunities and encouragement about the state. What I want to talk here about is the story, not the facts, and talk about what we have experienced in the state. Honorable Minister, respected Chairman, dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm evening to you all. First time when we saw the bid document for the land that was up for there, the first two thoughts that came to our mind, my mind, dealing with two government agencies, one Port Trust, the second bylaws that are, God bless us, I don't know when the project will really take shape. The second thought that came up is it needs a lot of infrastructure upliftment to make a development of this size, because on a Sunday, we do expect 1 lakh people, 10,000 cars coming into the project, and what will happen, how will they come in? And I must compliment Visakhapatnam Port Authority that they promised that the infrastructure around the entire micro market will be upgraded. And we thought, okay, we will take 4.5, 5 years to build this large real estate. And in that time, the roads will get upgraded. And I am surprised, shocked, pleasantly, and you might as well be. The road enhancement, the widening of the road is already been done. And we have just started our work. We did not have to wait for the end of the project for them to deliver their promise. They did it even before we started. The fact is, the first investment in that project is not done in my land, is done on the widened road by we adopting the plantation for the trees on that road to make it green and eco-friendly. So this is really commendable for a government department to move so fast with a vision, not only having a vision of larger infrastructure boosting the development, but also implementing immediately. We, as I talked about the second department that came to our mind, there is a reason you don't have too many national players in this country when it comes to real estate development. Every city in every state and every state in this country is governed by development laws which are very different. They are different in Hyderabad, they are different in Vijayawada, they are different in Visakhapatnam, because there's a local body subject matter. The local authorities decide how the development should take place, and hence it becomes very, very complicated process for any developer to understand multiple bylaws and processes to ensure that the project is delivered on time, which has a huge bearing on the financials of a project if it is not done on time. I think this project, from taking over land from the government, from the Visakhapatnam Port Authority, to starting physical work at site, is one of the shortest period that we have experienced across various states that we have worked. Within 11 months, we have physically started work at site after securing every single approval that is required to commence work. And there are three things which I must bring to you which has helped us in doing that. One, every single department was so extremely accessible. We could request an appointment. We based out of Mumbai, we have to go down and then, have limited windows available for us to meet people. But every single time we requested a meeting, we were granted time, and we were given an opportunity to represent what we are facing, experiencing, and where we need help. The process itself is so simple and well laid out and is online. And it makes the life so much easy because you don't have to meet people again and again. You just go back, do your homework, upload things online, and the process moves. So digitalization of the entire process is a great support for any new development in that state. And the third is not only that we were reaching out to the government authorities to say we need help or we need clarity. They have been reaching out to us saying, do you need any help? Do you need any clarity? And that really put more pressure on us to start work faster than we trying to chase authorities to start work faster. And hence, I think we have a very ambitious goal. Instead of we looking at a project which typically takes 5 to 6 years of this size, we are hoping that from taking over the land to opening the gates for our consumers, we will be able to do that in 3.5, 4 years and save around year and a half that originally comes to us as a thought in the project timelines. When we did our first celebration there for laying the first stone, we had huge encouragement from the city. The city was all buzzing with the social media and excitement about the brand in orbit coming there, but also a lot of support which we got. One thing that stood in that entire process, that every single municipal officer and municipal worker there, which was moving around and supporting and working out in that large function that we conducted, was carrying a badge which said Eco Vizag. And that talks about the sustainability growth and goals that the state has taken for themselves. Encouraged by that, we also have made our plans in a manner that we are holding back a lot of green development that exists on our plot. First time in the country, there will be a live tree sitting right in the middle of the mall. Open to sky, will be nurtured in its true environment and not differently. So my compliments to the government for being ranked number 1 consecutively 3 years in a row as number 1 state on ease of doing business. Compliments to them for being ranked 4 on a parameter for sustainable growth by Niti Aayog. I think these things are easy to achieve through presentation, are very, very difficult to execute on ground. And what we have experienced is nothing short of surprise and pleasant shock to us that we have been able to start work so fast. We have been bold. We have gone to a different level of excitement in our own organization, that we are not even taking bold targets to do it fast, but we are also expediting the second and the third phase that we planned for this project, looking at the excitement in the city, encouragement and investment that is happening in and around. Look forward to more projects. As a group, we believe that we can bring more asset class to this state. We can bring our hospitality business as a group. We can bring our office market, office development business to this state and city, and hope to announce more projects with association with the state very soon, and make our association with the state larger. This is just the first step. It's a big step, but I am sure we will take many more such large steps to increase our presence in the state. Thank you very much.
While on the subject of the change paradigm in Andhra Pradesh about the government officers and the government getting after the investors, I would like to narrate a small incident which happened very recently. There was an investor who had approached us for a small investment to be done and for a project. So when he came up, he said, this is all done and this needs to be done, etc. So he thought that it will be a long time. He will come, he has to call, make a lot of calls, and we don't respond, etc., etc. Now, by the speed with which I had approached my secretary and got the proposals done and etc., and then I started calling him, saying that, hello, what are you doing about this? He said, sir, I'm coming, I'm just doing this. After a while, he stopped lifting my phone. I mean, I thought positively embarrassing. I thought the government, it is the other way around, where the investor goes around with the government officers, and they don't respond. Here, the government of Andhra Pradesh is getting after investors, and they are not responding. So that's the change paradigm we have in Andhra Pradesh, gentlemen. So you can look forward to a great response like this in all your any endeavors that you would like to come and start in Andhra Pradesh. Now, you have heard one of our new entries into our Andhra Pradesh ecosystem. Now I would invite a representative of one of the oldest organizations and the experiment of the AP government in PPP, private-public participation, that is the Kakinada KSPL, Kakinada Seaports Limited, and the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Merla Murlidhar, will explain not only his experience of how when he started the operations, but all through these years, what was his experience and how the state of Andhra Pradesh and the government of Andhra Pradesh has morphed over the past few years. Mr. Merla Murlidhar.
Honorable Minister of our Ports and IT, Sri Amarnath Garu, our senior colleagues of Andhra Pradesh, and the dignitaries on the dais and the August gathering. Good evening to you all. Kakinada Deepwater Port started operations in March 1999. It's 24 years completed, and this is the 25th year of operations. And all the way, it was not a very, very smooth journey, but initial hiccups were there. It was very difficult those days to privatize a port, and governments are subjected to a lot of criticism for giving away such a port into the hands of private people. But then the government has been so proactive, but with a very cautious approach, they have privatized this port. Because of this cautiousness, there are some rough patches for us to smoothly move. Later on, governments have come in and identified these rough patches and again taken corrective steps, and the smoothing, the sailing has been very smooth so far. And we at the port belongs to the government. We are only operating the port and also developing the port. Later on, we will have to hand over this port to the government. But the port is originally supposed to be run by the government. Being the extended arm of the government, we also see how to ensure ease of doing business on behalf of the government, because the port is used by various port users who are some of them are much bigger than the port itself. They are the big importers, big exporters. Their turnovers are huge, and they use this port only as to just pass through their cargo. And sitting in the port, how to make their business very smooth, that has been our approach. Like our Minister Garu explained, our government has consecutively has got the award for 3 years, and with the similar spirit we have been working. And at Kakinada Deepwater Port, the working has become so smooth. We have digitalized almost every operation. Now the customers need not come to any office. Sitting in their office itself, they can process all the documents, they can obtain all the passes. Even their visitors, their guests, any pass, for any vehicle, anything, they can generate their passes sitting in their own office. They don't have to come to any office. Similarly, port also is controlled by the customs department, and customs procedures are also under digitalization. They are also going ahead, but little behind. And with our proactive approach, digitalizing all these operations, recently one organization invited us to Bombay and asked us, what are you doing? We heard something about your port. What are you doing? Then our IT department people have gone and explained how much digitalization has gone through, and we have not told anybody about this. And the big award function was conducted in Bombay recently, and Kakinada Deepwater Port was declared as the best digital port in India. And thanks to our proactive staff and proactive colleagues. And this kind of approach in Andhra Pradesh is present in, I believe, in all the ports, including the major port, Visakhapatnam. I have a special love for Visakhapatnam, where I started my career, actually not as a port employee, but as a port user. And we learned a lot of things from Vizag. And the Kakinada story is also a reflection of Vizag. And if you ask anybody using Kakinada port, you know the result, what it is. So with this, I would say I thank especially the Government of India, Shipping Ministry, for conducting such a beautiful and important maritime summit, and our proactive AP Maritime Board for taking such a huge step in participating very actively in this and putting forth Andhra Pradesh to the world. Thank you very much.
Just to show that we are not just local, we are international. Our reach goes international. And to tell you about his views on engaging with the government of Andhra Pradesh, especially with the Maritime Board, we have with us the Trade Commissioner, NBSO, Netherlands, Mr. Amlan Bora, who has been a proactive interactor with the state of Andhra Pradesh, especially with the Maritime Board, a good friend of us personally as well as to the state of Andhra Pradesh. I would request Sri Amlan Bora, Trade Commissioner, Netherlands, to explain about his experience in interacting with Andhra Pradesh government entities. Thank you.
Well, I'm local international. Not local completely, not international completely, right? As you can see, I'm originally from India, but then somewhere in my journey of life, Netherlands became my adopted home. And now I'm here representing the government of Netherlands and in my country of birth, so really feel good about it. Honorable Minister, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies, do I see some ladies here? Yeah, there are a few. Ah, very good. Very good. You are the pioneer, I think, who's taking the first step to enter to this otherwise man-dominated industry. So welcome, indeed, and I feel really proud of you. And as we all know, quantity is not important, quality is important. So I'm very proud to see those few ladies who are here. Now, if you speak about ports, maritime, well, it's a world in itself. But one word comes to my mind, and I'm sure to your mind as well. The first word that comes to my mind is connectivity, right? When you talk about ports, when you talk about anything related to maritime, the first thing that comes to the mind is connectivity. So from that perspective, I completely agree with what the Honorable Minister said earlier today. Thank you to the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways of the Government of India, and thank you to the Government of Andhra Pradesh for giving and creating this opportunity to create this connection between all of us and between you and me. Now, before we go any further, I think understanding the context and the relevance of events like this, of the topics like this, is very, very important to talk about. Two things cannot be looked away. One, the first thing is, if we look at India today, India contributes to 2% of global exports. And of these 2%, about 30% is manufactured goods, merchandise. That doesn't sound like a very attractive number. But the story starts there. What everybody is talking about, because of a multitude of regions, including post-COVID disruptions in supply chain, geopolitics, this 2% number is going to go up by at least 8 to 9%. Just read any reliable report, we see the number is going to go up by 9 times, and at least like 9%, 10%. That's the first context that we need to keep in mind. The second context, of course, or not the second context, the other side of this context is, look at what is happening today locally in India. We all know about the Gati Shakti mission. So far, if we talk to our exporters, and if we talk to international buyers, one major concern had been cost of exports from India is very high. Cannot compete in the international market. Of course, cost has many levers to it, but one lever had been the internal logistics cost. And Gati Shakti is taking one phenomenal step towards reducing the cost of logistics and making Indian exports more competitive in the global field. So these two things, geopolitics on one side and internal policies, progressive policies, I must say, and initiatives of the government of India and the various state government is going to make the whole thing look very different in a very short time. The second context, which we cannot ignore, is climate change. So climate change is no more an essay that we wrote when we were in school. Climate change is reality. And climate change is so easy to kind of visualize in front of us. If we talk about climate change, the 2-3 things which are so easy to visualize. We all know the water is melting, the icebergs are melting, which means the water level is going up. So if you talk about creation of ports, forget about all the other engineering things. The height of the ports just cannot continue to be the same like we have today. The second big aspect of climate change is consciousness. Global citizens across every country. Look at India. Look at any country in the world for that matter, except for a few. There are a few exceptions always, and exceptions are good. Everywhere, citizens are asking their governments to be more and more conscious. Citizens are asking their government to secure their future more and more. Everybody's talking about not just me and my life, everybody's talking about my children's, my grandchildren's, my future's life. And that is a reality which no government, no policymakers can stay away from. And the third reality is energy. Climate change also means there's a huge transition happening. Transition from fossil fuel to renewable sources of energy. Now, renewable and maritime/sports are just two sides of the same coin. Just two sides of the same coin, because when you talk about renewable, you also need to talk about transportation. Today, if you talk about Port of Rotterdam is supplying 40% of Germany's energy need. 40% of Germany's, that industrial powerhouse, energy need is being met through the Port of Rotterdam. And what is that? Oil and gas. And will that stay? Maybe another 10 years, 15 years. But the way we are making commitments, COP25, COP26, and onwards, that number is going to reduce drastically and very soon. Then we'll have to talk about other sources of energy. That is okay at the production point. What about transportation? What about storage? And that's where maritime comes in. Now all these things, these two contexts, again brings us to the point of connectivity. Right? We need to be connected together to solve global problems. None of us, for that matter, none of us can keep on reinventing the same wheel. We'll have to learn from each other. As Netherlands, of course, it's a small country. Netherlands and Holland, two countries, right? What do you think? Are they two countries? Have you heard about Holland? And also Netherlands? Are these two countries or not? Yes or no? Some say yes, some say no. Today I met somebody very interesting. I said, I'm from the Netherlands. Oh, I heard about it. It's near Holland. I said, yes, it's very near Holland. But Holland is a part of Netherlands. Right? Two states of Netherlands are Holland. But we confuse ourselves for a very long time. We branded ourselves as Holland, but also Netherlands. And now we call ourselves the Netherlands. So it's one country. Holland and Netherlands, one country. Very small country. You know, 260 kilometers north to south, 160 kilometers, even less probably, east to west. Put it from another perspective, the Port of Rotterdam is 40 kilometers long. From the starting point to the end point, which is inside the city of Rotterdam, is 40 kilometers long port. So if you flip this port 3 times horizontally, you actually reach Germany, which means about the breadth of the country is 130 kilometers probably. But in spite of the size, it's quite a formidable maritime power. And that formidability comes from interconnectivity, what Mr. Reddy was showing when we're talking about inland water connectivity. The Port of Rotterdam is called the gateway of Europe, but it is the gateway of Europe, not necessarily because of its capacity. It's no longer the biggest port in the world. But it is the gateway of Europe because of the interconnectivity the port offers. It is the gateway of Europe because of the efficiency the port offers. And also, of course, when you talk about maritime, Netherlands as a country, to be very honest, covers the entire spectrum of all maritime services, technologies, and capacities. I already see two companies here who very proudly represent, I must say, 2 of our competencies. One, I see Fanord there sitting there, who represent world-class dredging capabilities worldwide. They're doing dredging in India for very many decades now, but also everywhere in the world. I also see the representatives from Royal IHC, who are world famous for making the world-class dredgers, and India had been a market for them for a very long time. So if there are equipment companies, there are dredging companies, there are services companies across the maritime world where Netherlands does pretty well. But one very big important area, which we also do very well, and because we do very well in that area, we are better in the other areas, is maritime education. To sustain an industry to be top-notch, right from the Second World War, Netherlands followed the principle of triple helix. Triple helix means bringing 3 things together. One, the academia, or / research. Third, the industry. And third, policymaking, government. These 3 things work together. And if you look at any sector where Netherlands, for that matter, is good at, pick up agro. Agro is a very important sector, and we're pretty good at that. You'll see this triple helix very strongly functioning and very well functioning. So maritime is also one area where we follow the triple helix and it's functioning very well. So in this triple helix model, we put a lot of emphasis on maritime education. And that's definitely going to be one focus area for India very soon. And I'm sure the state of Andhra Pradesh can play a very crucial role in developing this competency, not just for India, but for the entire region. Because as the port capacity will continue to grow, as more and more women will continue to come to this industry, you will need to create capacity. You'll need to create knowledge. And again, like I said when I talked about the context, yesterday's knowledge is fast becoming redundant. We'll have to keep on developing new ideas, new technologies, which will be fit for the future of tomorrow. And we, as a government, I come from the Netherlands Trade Support Office. I am from the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action from the Netherlands. And we have 2 trade offices in India, one in Ahmedabad and one in Hyderabad. And I'm heading those 2 trade offices in India. My role as the chief representative of the trade offices in India is to connect. What do I connect? I connect ideas to ideas. But ideas is a bit intangible. I connect companies to companies. I connect companies to government. I connect government to government. We work with multilateral organizations like the World Bank, IMF, but we also work with state governments, the Indian government, and we work with knowledge institutions in India. So we basically create connections. And why do we create connections? To solve challenges. Challenges are global nowadays. We cannot stay away. We cannot say that what is happening 3,000 kilometers from here, I'm not concerned. We see what is happening already 4,000 kilometers away in the last 6-7 months, and we see the impact of how that impacts our day-to-day life even. We see what is happening today in some other parts of the world, and we're already getting concerned because we all know about a correlation that distance is not really relevant anymore, right? So that's what we do. And I must say, this relationship in creating connection, in facilitating private stakeholders, in facilitating knowledge institutions, in facilitating knowledge exchange between the Netherlands and the state of Andhra Pradesh had been phenomenal. We talk about ease of business, and I always look at the ease of doing business indicators. It's bloody complex for me. I don't understand it. I pick up ease of business only from 3 parameters. The first one is accessibility. Second one is understanding. And third is decision making. If these 3 things are there, for me, that is ease of doing business. Of course, people need to be accessible, which is difficult in India. And without putting any blame, I'm saying this. It is difficult in India because it's a huge country. It's a huge country. If it is not difficult, then there's something wrong in India. It has to be difficult with such a huge population, right? So the inaccessibility is definitely an inherent thing which comes with a country of this size. But India, I think, is doing actually very good and developing very good. And Andhra Pradesh is number 1, definitely because Andhra Pradesh, as a state, which includes the political leadership and the bureaucratic leadership, and of course the businesses, is very accessible through my experience so far. But accessibility itself is sometimes not enough. You need to also understand. If I keep on speaking to you and you don't understand me, or you keep speaking to me, I don't understand. In spite of being very accessible, I don't give a damn to what you said, or you don't give a damn. We need to understand each other. And talking about maritime, which is the topic that we're speaking today, I really feel that we are talking the same language. And that really helps. What I've also seen in the case of Andhra Pradesh is fast decision making. If I'm not wrong, Andhra Pradesh is the newest maritime board in India. But I don't feel that newness. Of course, it's a journey which is just starting, and my personal best wishes are there with this maritime board that it will go even more, to see more and more light, to create more and more light for the state of Andhra Pradesh. But what I have seen today, the fast decision making is really, really appreciated. We talked about creating an exchange program. Officials, ministers, bureaucrats visiting the Netherlands just around World Economic Forum, and we said, okay, you should come. In the case of many states, many countries, probably it would have taken much longer. Within 2 to 3 days, Andhra Pradesh made a decision that yes, we see value in this, and we'll go. To me, that is decision making. I will not go on because listening to speeches for so long is a very difficult capability, but you have it very well. I don't see anybody yawning, but still I have speakers after me. I'll end by saying that this connection that we are creating through this presence here in this room, let us continue. Let us continue to solve global challenges together. Let us create solutions to global challenges together. It is not necessarily about India and Netherlands, Andhra Pradesh and Netherlands. Together we can achieve more. We can also create multilateral, we can also represent the two of us to multilateral platforms. Let's keep working together. And of course, if there's anything which I can do, my office can do, I'm always just a phone call or an email away. Thank you very much.
Fill station and all that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bora, for your kind words. And I would also like to say that the feeling is mutual. When we deal with Netherlands, we also feel that we are dealing with friends and somebody who is very accommodative. And we had the good fortune of interacting with you for such a long time. And your response has been really, really wonderful. Thank you very much. Right, now we have come to the end of the speeches. And we would be going on for a MOU, exchange of MOU, and then some felicitation of the speakers, etc. But before that, I would like to end to surmise, to sum it all. We had been talking about the opportunities in Andhra Pradesh and in the maritime sector. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say that Andhra Pradesh is bursting with opportunities, bursting with any opportunities for investments, interactions, etc., like every other state. But the difference is that the interest, the enthusiasm of the political leadership and the bureaucracy to engage with you and hold your hand and ground your ideas and ground your proposals till they are successful. That is the difference, that is the change in the new paradigm, and that I would like you to invite all of you to experience with your proposals, and come talk to us. Come talk to us. That's all we request you. Come to us, talk to us, give your proposals, give us an opportunity to discuss with you and give you the solutions how you can invest in Andhra Pradesh. If you have the inclination, ladies and gentlemen, we have the interest. Thank you very much. Now we will be looking at exchange of MOU, and I will request the MC to take over.
Yes, this exchange of MOU is pretty much the symbolization of the essence of what we've been discussing over here. And to commemorate that, this is going to be the commemoration of the exchange of MOU between Visakhapatnam Port Authority and Tryon Properties. Now, to take that forward in the gracious, auspicious presence of our Honorable Minister, I'm going to request Mr. Dr. M. Angamuthu, IAS Chairperson VPA, and Shri Rajneesh Mahajan, Chief Executive Officer in Orbit Malls, to step forward for this. And if the audience feels like, give them a little bit of a cheer so that this feels like a good rounded moment. I'll hand it over back to the gentleman.
Okay, we have this formality in all Indian speeches and this kind of occasions. Now we will felicitate the speakers, and I would request the Honorable Minister to felicitate the speakers, starting with Sri Angamuthu IAS. Next, Sri Amlan Bora. Next, Sri Merla Murlidhar. Yeah. Next, Mr. Rajneesh, please. Now I request Minister to fill state Sri Dilip Kumar Garu. Now, I request Sri Angamuthu Garu to facilitate rest of the speakers, starting with Sri Praveen Kumar, IAS. Yes, that is a paradox, but anyway. Yeah. Now I request Sri Angamuthu Garu to give the presentation to the chief guest of the day. Yeah, chief guest of the day, Sri Gudivada Amarnath Garu. You come. Next, you ask the convener to give it to the rest of the speakers, which includes me.
We are not done yet. With a little bit of more formalities, I'm going to request the panelists to please be on stage. Please be on stage. We have a little more of formalities to go. I'm going to request Dr. M. Angamuthu, IAS Chairperson, VPA, to honor the presence of all the panelists with a token of appreciation. I'm going to request starting with Sri Praveen Kumar, IAS CEO, Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board. Thank you. Shri S.V.K. Reddy, CEO, Andhra Pradesh Inland Waterways Authority. Now to Lieutenant Commander Ravindranath Reddy, Deputy CEO, Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board. Thank you for steering this session, sir. Shri Rajneesh Mahajan, Chief Executive Officer, Inorbit Malls. Shri Merla Muralidhar, CEO, Kakinada Seaports. You've all. And Mr. Amlan. Mr. Amlan Bora, Trade Commissioner, NBSO, Netherlands. I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister for his presence and the patience of all our dignitaries on the panel. A big round of applause for this beautiful session. Thank you so much. This is the end of a fantastic session. Thank you, panelists, once again. And thank you for your patient listening. You have just finished the first day of GIMS, the third edition. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. My apologies, we're not done yet. It was a faux pas on my end. We have a vote of thanks by none other than Mr. Orshad Sheikh. Please don't go away. I would like to listen to this vote of thanks. Panelists, may I request your patience? Orshad, my apologies.
I'm so sorry. I know this is a worst part of the section. And thankfully, all thanks to our Honorable Minister. Please join me with a big round of applause for this amazing session. And then I really would like to also thank Angamuthu sir and his team, Venugopal Garu, as well as Sandeep, who are all behind the scenes and making it possible to make this session successful. And yes, I have some of my other unsung colleagues from Andhra Pradesh Maritime Board and AP EDB for just working very relentlessly for the whole 10 days and then making this more successful. Thank you so much. Thank you all. And I would like to thank all the speakers, including Mr. Amlan Bora. Within a short period of time, everyone has just agreed to be part of this. And then thank you all. Thank you all.